Good Friday. Could you explain a little bit about the significance of Good Friday?
Yes, I can. Just a very little. On Good Friday, it was the best of the Fridays, it was the end of the Passover, and Jesus went to Jerusalem. And on Good Friday, Jesus said, let's purify the temple. And I don't want any business in the temple. And I don't think that it belongs in the temple. You should put the businessmen out of the temple and don't let them sit here changing money and selling animals for sacrifice and doing all the other crazy things. All the pundits were sitting there around the murtis and saying, if you want puja, give me money. And if you want, I'll help you worship. And Jesus went into the temple. He said, I'm purifying the temple. You've made my Father's house a den of thieves. Get out. You're only here for the money. It's your occupation. This is not a business. This is about spiritual communion. And the priests and all the business people and everyone else said, this is totally against the tradition. Look, we've been sitting here in these seats right around the murtis, selling our pujas and renting out changing money and selling prasad and doing selling you flowers and selling you incense. And everything's for sale in the temple. Who are you to come into the temple and tell us how we should behave in the temple? Our forefathers built this temple. You're not even from this area. You're not a local. This is our temple. We're the pandas of this temple. Bago. And Jesus said, no. He said, spirituality, this is the house of God, and the house of God is open to everyone. And I am a son of God. I'm a child of God. And no one has the authority to tell me that they have a claim to do their business right in front of the murti. Well, Jesus got into an altercation. They all began to fight. They called the police. The police called the army. The army came and arrested Jesus. And they took him to the judge, Pontius Pilate. And the judge he didn't want to do anything with Jesus. He said, you guys accused him. You guys try him in your court. So let him be tried by the Hebrew priests. You have your own court. This is a local matter. It's a religious matter. Something took place in your temple. I have no authority to do anything. And the Pharisees, the priests, the pandas of the temple said, this is a judicial matter which concerns Rome. And they held up a coin and they said to Jesus, to whom shall the people of Israel pay taxes? And Jesus answered, look at the picture on the coin. It was Julius Caesar. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give the rest to God. And they said, see, he said, you don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to give everything to Caesar. You don't have to give everything to Rome. He's a heinous crime. He has committed a heinous crime against all of Rome. So now it's your jurisdiction. So then the judge, Pontius Pilate, said, okay, I have Barabbas, who is a murderer and a thief and a revolutionary, and he is sentenced to be killed. And I have Jesus, who is accused of telling people not to pay taxes. Which one do you want me to set free? So, of course, the Barabbas fans all shouted for the release of Barabbas. Jesus was convicted, and he was crucified on Good Friday. And that's why it was the Good Friday. Of course, on Saturday, after the sundown, because they couldn't take the body down during the Sabbath, on the Saturday. So on the Saturday after the sundown, they took the body down, and they put it into a cave, and on Sunday morning, they went and looked in the cave, and the body wasn't there.
He lied.
Gone! And then Jesus appeared on Easter Sunday to his disciples, and everyone said, he has risen. And on Sunday, we'll celebrate the Mass. We could even celebrate the Mass Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but this is how the tradition began. That was the story of the Good Friday. Yes, please.
There's a question from Vish.
Yes, please.
What is the significance for devotees of Jesus being on the cross and rising back again?
Well, it depends what kind of devotee you are. It absolutely depends if you are Catholic, if you're Protestant, what denomination you are, because you'll buy into a different history and a different interpretation. For us, in our universal outlook, in our universal faith, we would say that the cross, the horizontal member, stands for the relationship with man to man. How does man relate to society? The vertical member stands for the relationship between man and God. In every society, the relation between man and society is different. If you go to the desert communities of the Mohammedans, you'll say that there's no vegetables. You better eat meat if you want to survive. If you go to the lush tropical areas of India, you'll say there's so much vegetable, why would you take a life in order to save your own life? You eat a vegetarian diet. The relationship between man and man is different in every society. In ancient Hindu society, if you killed the cow, you had to eat everything right then and there. But in modern American society, if you kill a cow, you put it in the refrigerator, you can eat it for a month. In India, in ancient India, if the cow lived, you got milk and ghee and yogurt and all the products that will nourish your body for the life of the cow. Why would you think to kill the goose that lays the golden egg? Be a vegetarian. So the relationship between man and society is different in every society. We of the universal outlook understand that at the crossroads between the relationship between man and society and between man and God, the embodiment of universal love was put on display to kill that love because of the selfishness of humanity. But they couldn't kill him. He rose to be eternal and be more powerful and more strong than they could have ever imagined were he to have lived his life and preached. He would have been a voice crying in the wilderness. But ultimately, he had attained eternal life. Because that's the allegory of the story. He rose to eternal life and he gives blessings. And now, 2,000 years later, we've got the largest landholder in the world is the Catholic Church. They're the biggest real estate enterprise in the world. All in the name of the embodiment of universal love. It was a pretty silly mistake. Are there other questions? Yes, please.
Are the stories surrounding Jesus to be taken literally or to be interpreted in order to understand morality?
It depends on your outlook. It depends on who you are and what you want. If you join a church from your youth, you'll be told the stories of Jesus are literal. And he actually turned the water into wine. And he actually walked on the ocean. In the same way, if you study Hinduism, you'll find every level of interpretation on the 7 levels of consciousness. How do you interpret this story and what does it mean to you? It depends on what you're looking for. And in that way, you'll understand the stories of the scriptures in every religion. It happened to me when I studied Sanskrit and I looked at the translations that were prepared in the 19th century, in the late 1800s and early 1900s. They were all translated literally. Here are all these rishis praying for more cows and praying for the rivers and the mountains, and they should be blessed by the sun. And I don't think that's the meaning that I came up with. Because I saw that the same root for cow was go, and the same root for light was go. And maybe if they were really rishis, then they were praying for light. So I thought, well, wait a minute, Govinda is the Bindu of the go. Does that mean he's the one-pointed cow? Now, Gopal, I can understand, he's the protector of cows. But Govinda, I couldn't get. How could he be the one-pointed cow? Holy cow. So then I thought, well, maybe if it is a ray of light, it's always a ray of light. And the protector of the cow, or the protector of light, was really the meaning that they wanted to convey. And the one-pointed light was Govinda. And in Gauri was she who embodies rays of light. She didn't embody rays of cows. But some of the interpreters and translators wanted to say that she was the rays of cows. And I didn't understand it. What are they talking about? What does this mean to me? It's not going to change my life. I want something to change my life, and I'll call that a religious experience. I don't want something that just doesn't make any sense at all, and I'm reading it for what reason? I didn't want to become a professor. I want to be a practitioner. I didn't want to become someone who could expound and pontificate and give discourses on the cows or on the history of the Vedic Aryans. That wasn't my purpose. I already had a job. I was looking for something that would change my life. If I could bring more light into my life, if I could bring more love into my life, if I could bring more generosity into my life, I would think I lived a good life. This is a good lesson for me. And that's how I interpreted the story of Jesus. And that's how I interpreted the story of the Vedas. And that's how I translated the various scriptures that we translate.
Thank you.
Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.
Namaste. Thanks.
Thank you all for coming and for sharing with us tonight. And please be blessed with a good, and better still, of a Good Friday. Namaste.